everybody? This is your host, Odd Job Entertainment, bringing you another stream. We've got some cool stuff to go over today. I have been very busy, as you can tell, right? 36 new joystick options for especially the VKB Gladiator, but joystick switches tend to use the same style of switch all the time, so it's highly likely that this will work for any joystick using the same stem. So that sounds like a limitation. I promise it's probably, it's very, here, I'll be a little more confident. It's very likely that it will work for you. Alright, that's how we're going to say it. Let me just get through sharing the link. I forgot to do that ahead of time. Oh, gotta put it in the announcements channel. We can't just leave it out to dry. So, with that said, let me just make sure that I am transmitting audio. Okay, yeah, I can hear myself typing. Perfect. We're good. Engage with your audience. There's a new, there's a members only live stream. Yeah, but I don't want to do that. We want to keep this open. We want to keep it wide, so as many people want to watch can. It says we have 3 viewers. Welcome. Hope you guys enjoy. Now, let's see. I need to switch to the cam only shot for a moment because we've got 36 options that I made. I printed off, obviously, all the ones that are on screen. They came out pretty good. Get that one to focus. So I'm using my resin printer again. Just a typical ABS-like resin. Works great. Hey, Geo's in chat. Welcome, Dirty Wolf. How you doing? And I have been testing them a little bit. You can actually see them on this joystick here on my right side. And I immediately noticed that something is missing. On the mini joystick, the mini analog stick, I really like this style out of the 36 that I made because it is the only one that is concave that is intended for an analog purpose. Actually, not true. The one that I haven't tried is this conical one. Well, I appreciate that, Dirty Wolf. I'll be hopping on Star Citizen in just a bit too, so if you're able to hang out, maybe we can connect in game too. So let's go ahead and put this one on the stick. And part of me doing a lot of the testing here is I get to do some of the troubleshooting. I'm actually using a fingernail clipper handle as a tool for removal. And the analog stick is the easiest one to remove, but it's still a little tight. And then these are keyed 180 degrees. So you just need to make sure that you line up the flats in the correct orientation. A little tricky to get lined up. The analog stick in particular is a little tougher of a switch to get them onto because it moves around so much. Only there was an engineer working on this kind of stuff that could make like an easy placement tool. That's on enough that I can try it out. I think this one might have a little more shrinkage, so I don't want to force it too much. I do like that. This little center nubbin, this top circle, right? That's most of what I'm feeling, actually. It's kind of like the nipple mouse on like a Lenovo ThinkPad. It's kind of that same feeling, where it's just a little point of contact. I feel like I have a good amount of control. The only difference is I feel like this one may feel better for a longer period of time. Sorry, just to clarify, going back to this one with the donut rings around it. But what I do know for sure is I have a alarming lack of convex designs. All of these ones in black here were kind of the ones that I intended for the analog stick. They're all concave. I came up with a few more that could be used for the analog stick, but the only ones that are convex are these 4 options. So I want to take the time to work. Oh shoot, I'm not. I'm not showing you what I'm pointing at. Dang it. Sorry. These ones in black. These ones are all concave. These are the ones that I intended for the analog stick. The only ones that are convex are these 4 here. So we need some more convex options. So that's what I want to focus on making today. And I've got a glass of my finest Mountain Dew Baja. So this gives me an opportunity to kind of run through the process of how I made these ones originally. Let's start by selecting our front plane, and then we're going to create a plane that is offset from this. And you can see it's offsetting 2.5 by default. We're just going to double that. All these are spaced 2.5 centimeters from each other. So this will give us our next row, essentially. And I took some basic measurements of the sticks on my BKB Gladiator, and those are reflected here in sketch number 1. And I'm going to recreate that sketch here on this plane. And if I hit P, I can show planes, and then hit P again to hide planes. I don't actually need them to be visible for me to use them. And then U for copy, Q for construction. And we're just going to copy all of these reference lines from that sketch. And you see most of them copied just fine, but these blue dots indicate that maybe one of the references got skipped. So I just made those coincident with those, with this diagonal line and this horizontal line. Now everything's fixed. And I've already done all the work on the previous 36 iterations to make sure that these work on the VKB Gladiator. Meaning that we need to get the correct amount of angular deflection from each joystick. We need to make sure that they don't hit anything or they're not obstructed. So I've already done that work, so I can copy, for the most part, these exterior dimensions and know that I'm going to be okay. Let's do hide all parts. And then looks like there's a few more lines I can copy. Let's go ahead and just grab those. Turn off construction mode. And Onshape is a little different from other CAD programs. I believe in both SolidWorks and Fusion 360 you revolve around a construction line, but in Onshape you revolve around a geometry line. And what I mean by that is if I go over these sections, now I have a solid profile, and if I do Shift W, it automatically selects that face, and then my revolve axis has to be a solid line. Or at least the contour that I am revolving must be closed. That's probably the better way to think of it. So for instance, oh, oops, not that one. If I click back into Sketch 27 and we make this, right? If I try to revolve this, it will not let me create a solid out of that. Okay, it has to be closed. So let's actually do it this way. There we go. Now those are construction again. So I did 4 lines down here. We can also speed that up by hitting G to draw a rectangle. I don't know. R does a centered rectangle. So if you do R and click, then you pull out a rectangle. G goes from corner to corner. I don't know what the logic is there. Usually with Onshape, I feel like the default keyboard shortcuts make a lot of sense. Like Shift O is for making something concentric. Well, O looks like a circle, so that makes a lot of sense in my mind. Shift L is for perpendicular, but G for rectangle, I'm still trying to wrap my head around that one. Now we'll pull a line out this way, we'll go to the diagonal, follow it, and then if we drag from the point, we can create a arc, and then if we do another drag, we can create another arc. Okay, now we want to make sure that these are tangent to each other and that this longer arc is tangent to the top. And we'll do another line pulling it back down. Now we have a closed contour. And I want it to be mostly flat with just a little bit of a lip here. So these arcs look pretty good. I'm going to hit D for dimension. And then I'm just going to give them some value. I'm just going to round up to the nearest nice value. Right, so 0.2 instead of 0.16. 2.8 instead of those decimals. Depending on what you're doing, your dimensions will be driven from something in the project. In this case, I'm just creating it all from scratch, so this is how I'm going to do it. Alright, then Shift W, and we'll just click one of these center lines as our revolve axis. Now we have a dummy for our joystick. We need a few more things. This needs a hole for the stem, which I have already measured with Sketch 3. Okay, so I'm actually just going to draw a sketch on this face, and then the easy way to do this is to draw a circle, do 2 lines, and if you double tap L it will break and then restart the command so that you can draw another line not connected to the first. And then instead of dimensioning these from the center and then dimensioning the other one from the center, if you just do E for equal and set both of these lines equal to each other, and then you could dimension them this way, right? And like I happen to know we're going to go for 2.95 or 0.3, you know, something like that. We could do it that way, right? So that would be a totally valid way of doing it. What I'm going to do instead, though, is because I've already done the work of figuring out the tolerances on these sticks, and I want them all to be changed dynamically whenever I change one thing to make them all work better together. Let me rephrase that. if I ever have to go back and change the dimension to make it work better, I want it to be applied to all of them. So instead of having a dimension created here, I want to reference the one that I did before. So instead I'm actually just going to make these coincident with each other, and that achieves the same thing. And I can also hit E for equal and set these two radii to be equal to each other. M for trim. And then we're going to extrude this. We're going to do it as remove. And then I'm going to reveal this first one. I'm going to hide sketch 3 so I don't accidentally click anything there. I'm going to extrude up to this top face. And there we go. We have our stem. Or our stem hole. There's one more thing that we need to copy over from the previous iterations, and that is this hole. I found that this is pretty important. This is a drain hole. The first iterations that I did, I was having a world of trouble trying to get the resin out from inside the stem. It was just sitting in there, and the surface tension was too much for me to be able to flush it out very effectively. But adding the hole means that there's no longer the same level of suction that can keep them adhering to the inside of the part. And just that little bit means that it can drain out significantly more easily. Significantly easier? It's easier. So, if you're far into a project and you can't remember what created that feature, if you click it, you can see, oh, extrude number 15, okay. And then it's usually going to be the sketch above that that does the thing. So what I'm actually going to do here is I should be able to just pull this down. And if we go into extrude 15, we'll get an idea as to why that updated the way that it did. I set it to go through all symmetrically and merge with all. So it's not looking to see if a object existed before or after. It's just going to go through anything that existed at the time, right? So now that I've moved it to later in the timeline, it includes this in that scope. So pretty neat trick. The one thing you need to remember is, let's see, that was, yeah, that was the sketch 25, right? What happens if I pull this below the extrude? You see, it's not happy. Because timeline-wise, it's referencing something that technically doesn't exist yet. So if you can move features like that around to make them work for you a little better, but you need to keep in mind that they reference their parent, and if you don't keep that parent-child relationship correct, it will cause you issues. So now, before I do anything else on this stick, I want to go ahead and copy it so that I have multiple blank slates to work from, just like I've done up above. So I'm going to create a linear pattern, and for direction I can actually select my primary faces, and the advantage to that is it's an easy reference to find and it's never going to disappear, right? So I can go ahead and create 4 that way. I can reference the same face again and create 3 going the other way. Now I have a line of 6 blank templates. And they inherited all the features of their parent, so they all have that drain hole, they all have the same stem hole size, the same depth. So all of these will work well with each other. Now, one thing that you see with these ones that I've made before is it seems like there's duplicates, right? Like there's this one with some rings going around the perimeter, and there's this one with rings going around the perimeter. But the difference is that they're different heights. So why would we want to create different height sticks? Well, it's the same reason that you have different height options on a higher end controller. The taller ones are going to be more precise, and the shorter ones will be more sensitive, right? And if we look at these from the side, you have your pivot point down here at the bottom, and it will take more motion from my thumb to move this to the same degree as its shorter counterpart. And that has some advantages when you're talking about our control schemes, because if you want something to be very precise, like maybe since my since my right hand mini analog stick, since I use that for camera control and I do use the analog function quite a bit, I might want a taller control surface on that one just so that I have that little bit finer grain control. But on all the hat switches, well, those are binary on-off, right? So a shorter stick in that case makes a lot of sense because it's just faster. And so I'm creating duplicates of all of them so that when you download this pack, you have that tool to play with, right? Like you can figure out which one you like the most. My preference is going to be, if it's an analog control, I probably want it to be a little taller. If it's a digital control, I want it to be short and fast. As far as like the specific iterations that I want to create, I think what I essentially want to do is duplicate what I have here on the black sticks and just make convex versions of them. Like, I do like the feel of all of these. I just don't quite like that concave nature of them. And that's very much a personal preference. You might find that you really like the concavity, but I want to give myself some options here. So let's see how it turns out if we just do that. So let's start with this one. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to create another plane. But this time we're going to create a mid-plane. So we're going to select those two faces because that helps us reference the middle of this stick. And we're going to set our plane definition to mid-plane. And you'll see it's created this guy right here. If we right-click, we can do a sketch on that. N for normal. U for copy. Q for construction. We're going to bring in these references, and you can see it's kind of struggled figuring out where these end, so we can help it out a little bit. I for coincident, and I'm actually going to create a construction line down through the middle and bring that over here. There we go. Then I'm going to trim these because I don't actually need them. Now I think the way that this is going to work, I'll need to create an arc. I'm basically recreating the same arc we have for this side, but I want it to stop not in the middle. So I only want it to go part of the way. And we can do our shift in O for concentric. It's kind of off the deep end a little bit there. There we go. Now it's brought back into perspective. And then I can tell it where I want that line to end by defining an angle. So let's call that 10 degrees. Okay, so that's step one. And then I'm going to finalize that sketch. And I'm going to create a new one on this one, on this face. I'm just going to create a circle. Give that a dimension. And then we're going to use our sweep command. And we're going to select those lines from before. Just like that. Okay. Now we're going to apply a fillet. It's not really liking that, is it? Yeah, it's just not really happy. Let's see if we can't play with one of these. I'm not liking how those look. What we can do is go back into this sketch and we can create a little helper shape. Something like that. And then we can revolve this around this line. And it's not liking it because we're creating self-intersecting part. Okay, so the way that we fix that, it doesn't like that these two arcs come to a fine point. It's probably that one. So if we just give this a little bit more height, it'll be fine. Once we then include that. There we go. It's cut off that bit of the end there. And that looks like a shape that will probably work better with the fillet command. It's really not liking that. I wonder why that is. Let's try doing it this way. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. If this were a mission critical part, I would obviously spend a lot more time trying to figure out why it's not working. But for this kind of stuff, it's pretty minor. But I think this is our issue. So with that in mind, something like that. See, that doesn't fix it, does it? Because it creates... Okay, let's get rid of that. Wait, nope, I did actually need that one. I just don't need... These elements aren't doing what I want them to. So I'm going to do some cleanup and get rid of them. And maybe that one's not so bad, but still just not quite a fan of that. You know, I could probably experiment with doing a loft, though. That would take a little longer to set up. I think that probably works. Let's just do that. because that does achieve the kind of tapering that I want. Huh. No, it's... Alright, fine. We will do the loft. So, we're going to create another plane. And I think line normal. Perfect. Then we create our sketch here, create another circle, and let's have it taper in a bit. Welcome, Morris. How you doing? Now, if you just caught what I did there, I want this to be considered one profile. So let me redo that. If I just click from here to here, it creates two profiles, and there's some issues because they don't have the same number of vertices, right? But if I click this drop down and then I click into this region, I can click this as well, and now it gets that other part of the circle, and you can see it's a lot happier about that. Yeah, Tesla coil hat's not a bad name for it. I'm doing good. As you can see, I've been busy. Created 36 variants of the hat switch covers for the face switches on the VKB. I think we're going to bump that up to 48 tonight. So, quite a few. The next thing we want to do is we want to add a path. And as long as it properly connects point A to point B, it will recreate it. All right, so now we have this now we have this pipe that goes up and around. Okay. So now let's bring back the part. And for the love of all that is holy, please let me put a fillet on that. There we go. Finally. Freak. That's all I wanted. But now that I got it, I don't like how much it sticks up. I think it does need to needs a little something else. So let's do this. I'm going to create the tool over here. I think 45 will work. Let's bring that in. Now the important part is this point here needs to be before this point horizontally. So we're good. There we go. Just clipped off a little bit there. Now we can create a little bit different of a fillet, and it looks mostly the same there, but you can see it's got a little bit of a flattening. And now we can play with this. And we can see what kind of effect that has. See? So I do like that a lot more than what we had before. Whoa, zoomed out a little too far. I think the other thing we need to do is we need to just decrease this a little bit. There we go. Still not a fan of it. I'm going to do it with an arc instead. I think this might work for what I want to do. Let's see. Okay, almost. I like that a lot more. I think this is going to give me the shape I want. Yes. All right, perfect. I think I just realized something that could have made this easier. Yep. All right, we're doing it this way instead. That's a lot easier. Holy cow. Just goes to show your first iteration might not be your last, and it might not be your best idea. You can't let yourself get too married to any single solution. You need to keep an open mind to what's going to work best. All right, so finally we have the spline looking the way that I want it to. So all we need to do now is create a circular pattern and pattern that around. In this case, 8 times to replicate its neighbor. And it's not a perfect copy. I don't want it to be. I think this will work a little better. I'll be happy with this. The other thing we can do there is we can do add, and then we can merge it all to this and that one. Nope, didn't like that, did it? Let's try doing a Boolean after the fact. I wonder. Nope, those are definitely solids. Okay, that's good. Why are you like this? There we go. We'll do it that way. Just need to be a little bigger to not be flagged as basically an infinitesimal point. Now we've got our 8-line version. Whew. Okay, so I know you're worried that we're going to have to recreate all of that again to create this one. No, we do have a method here. Before we do the circular pattern, we're going to linear pattern this guy 2.5 centimeters down. Now it's on this one. Oh, look at that. Now we roll that one to the end again. These ones all merge, and we have this one to play with. And now we bump it way up. 64. And we merge it with this stick. And there we go. So that one was quite a bit easier. Now for this one, these nodules are a little easier to create. So it's not going to take us nearly as long to get there. Don't worry. We're going to create another midplane. And we're going to create a little circle. This one's going to be sized up a bit. Then we're going to create an offset of this arc line to serve as a reference point. And we can put that onto that reference line. And we can also make that coincident. And let's see if, okay, yep, we can use that one. Okay, so now everything's defined, but we can still play around with things a little bit. Like if I want this to stick out a little more, I can change this dimension to 0.035, and that's going to bump our little circle out a little, just a little bit more, right? Now we're going to extrude it. We're going to have it be symmetric. And does that look? Yeah, that's about the same size. So 1 millimeter wide. I think I want this to be even a little bigger. But that's a little too big, huh? Or at least it needs to be moved in more. We need to add another dimension. I'll just add it to this. So yeah, that looks, I like that quite a bit more. And then if we do radius, fillet, half the width, it finishes off that little kind of biscuit shape there. See, I told you this one would go faster. Okay, now we're going to do another pattern. And we're going to do it 8 times again. I'm going to add it to this guy and to that one. And there we go. Concave version of its neighbor. The next one's super easy. It is just the smooth dome. So we can move right on to number 5. Create another midplane. A sketch on said midplane. And this one is the same circle revolved around the perimeter multiple times. So I do remember how to make this one. So this one will also go by rather quick. So Shift O for concentric. Set these to be so. And how many do you want? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Probably more efficient way to do this would be to set a variable, and then I'll set them equal to the same variable. But when Oddjob's on camera, he doesn't think as well. So we're doing it this way instead. Make those a little smaller. And then we're going to revolve them around like that. We're going to have them be an add and merge them to this stick. Woo, there we go. Super easy. Now, the last one for tonight is just a repeat of this one, really. We're going to create yet another midplane. And then I want it to show me this. And then we're going to just continue that pattern up a bit more. So probably to about that point. Then we can select all of these. And one of our original circles, hit E to set them all equal at the same time. And then if we do if we draw a dimension between these two, it's going to be a driven dimension, which is perfect for us because that tells us that this is basically 0.05. I'm going to round up. You guys won't be able to see this kind of difference when you're looking at it. But now, I can measure this angle, and it looks like it's 1.05. And if I try to set that to 1.05, it's not going to be super happy until I delete that. Okay, so that kind of sent them scattering a little bit. Just bring them back into the fold. And like I said, it's probably a little faster to do a variable, so let's set one. Just like that. Okay, so this looks a little messy, right? There's probably a better way to do this. And there is. So let's get rid of all of these, actually. And these lines. We've still got our degree that we created. We're going to set this equal to that, because somehow that broke. And then we're going to do a circular feature, or circular pattern instead. So with this, it usually draws to the origin, so you need to always just kind of reset that. And when it doesn't let you pull it to the angle that you want, if you click the arrow, it'll flip to the other direction. And then we can set this to be our angle. And you can see it's trying to put them all within that boundary. We don't want that. So what we actually want to do is we want to multiply this by the number of entities we just added. And boom, there you go. 10 equidistant circles from each other. Lickety split. So now, if we do our revolve, we have our convex version. And maybe we fix that just a little bit. Ten wasn't quite enough. We can see what that does to the final result. I guess we'll do 12. There we go. That looks pretty comparable. So convex rings. There we go. So we've been going for just over an hour. We've created 6 new varieties. Now, very quickly, we're going to create 6 more. By selecting all of these, selecting our front face, now we have copies of everything, right? But we know that we need to create a short variant, so we can do that with the move face command. And I'm moving both of these faces at the same time. And you can see by default it's extending them. We don't want that. And I believe, if I remember correctly, it was 0.4. Yeah, 0.4 looks right. But we can also do up to entity and do it that way. And that way we're referencing something that existed before. So if we go back into the history and change something, it will update accordingly. So there we go. We just went from 36 when we started to 48. In doing my own testing, I've learned a few things. One, and this didn't really surprise me, for directional movements, I still really like this treadmill pattern with the vertical sidewalls and the grippy front to back movement. I have that equipped on my joystick for the top right hat switch. In that specific thumb position, this one is also a really good fit. I was disappointed with this D-pad pattern, actually. And I think the reason why I don't like it has to do with how you're actually using a D-pad when it's on a controller. Because you're not moving your thumb up, down, left, right. You're moving your thumb, let's say I want to hit the right side of the D-pad. You're moving your thumb to the right, and then you're pressing down. And that's a more complex motion that is not as easily replicated on the hat switch. What I was finding is it just felt very unstable, and I wasn't able to get very good grip on these flat surfaces. So I'm not going to take them out of the pack. I'm going to leave them in so that you guys can experiment, see for yourself. Maybe I'm totally off base with that, but I just did not like any of these varieties. I did really like the inverse cone. So this kind of sunken valley look here. These ones work really well, and regardless of whether or not they have ridges, it's very easy to control them, but the ridges do help you get a little more sense of directionality. All right, so this one's intended for something that moves 8 directions. The VKB doesn't have that, really. It does have the analog stick, which has a mode. That's an 8-way hat, but I never use that. So you could use it for that. I'm hoping that other people will find this variety more useful for perhaps controls that do have a dedicated 8-way hat. I'm rocking this one personally for my 4-way hat. That's on the bottom middle one. Yeah, maybe even a slight roll motion when doing left-right on a D-pad. Yeah. So it's not a perfect side-to-side or up-down. So it's just not, it just doesn't feel good to be. I was also kind of surprised. I was really rooting for this one. Kind of a unique shape. Let's see if I can find it real quick here. In my Cuppo sticks. I might revisit it and just make the notches larger, but I'm not feeling like I'm getting my thumb rested into there very well. It's quick and it's clear to feel and use. Just doesn't feel very good. Maybe if someone has smaller fingers than I do, though, they'll get better use out of it. Still like this one quite a bit for directional stuff. It's just not quite the level of tactile feedback that I like. A lot of this is personal preference. I'm just giving you my opinion. You'll have access to all 48 of these if you get the pack on Thangs or through a licensed distributor. And I may even keep adding more. I don't know. Right now, I think my brain's kind of cooked on them, so I don't think I'm going to create more for this pack. But I guess time will tell. It'd be kind of cool to come up with an even 60. 60 has a nice ring to it. And then it's going to be a nice 6x10 pattern, right? But let's get on to how to create these. And first thing we need to do is create a version. And then we need to export these as a 3MF. And I'm going to show you the problem, and then I hope I'm going to quickly show you the solution. I think I have it figured out in my head now, but it's kind of a confusing thing. There's a lot of geometry to process, so it takes a bit. Okay, I'm going to save this as VKB Joystick Covers 3MF, just because that's what I've been working with. Okay, now let's go ahead and open this. We're going to open it in Orca Slicer. Wait, no. I'm going to open it in Chi2Box this time. Chi2Box is the slicer that I use for my resin prints. And if you've been a long-time viewer of the channel, you will have seen this software before. They did a recent update, and some things got much nicer. This thing used to take forever to open files, to do anything, right? It just took a really long time. But some functions have been greatly sped up, but then the way that you access other functions, I'm not a super fan of. But here you can see the problem. We opened the 3MF. It's not showing up. It says it's here on the platform. It didn't give me any prompt about rescaling anything. But it's not here. What's the deal? So I'm just going to delete that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to open it with Orca Slicer. It's loading on my second screen. I'll pull it into position once it's done. I don't want to move it until it's ready. There we go. So pulled up just fine here, right? So all I'm going to do is save it. And then I'm going to have G2Box open. And there you go. I don't know why you have to do it this way, but G2Box does not seem to handle 3MFs super well. So this is the workaround that I figured out. Let me show you another problem that you may run into. And I can show you that by actually doing it from OrcaSlicer. I can export these as one STL, and then I'm going to save it as that same thing that I had before, but this is now an STL. I'm just overwriting the file that was there. If I try to pull in this STL, oops, all of these are considered one object. Now, here's the really stupid thing about G2Box. It is one of the nicer resin slicing softwares, right? But they do something really stupid with how they monetize it, in that they cut off very basic commands. So if I want to split these into objects, there is a split command, but it's a premium feature only. So if you're using the free version of G2Box, you cannot split STLs. So the way to fix this would be to load the STL into OrcaSlicer and save it as a 3MF from OrcaSlicer. And then you will be able to load it into G2Box and bypass that restriction. Oh, it could have just been that they were 1/100th scale. Okay, that's good to know for the future. I've been kind of tearing my hair out lately with this software. But this is the workaround that I figured out. If you just save it as a 3MF from OrcaSlicer, no muss, no fuss, everything works. Now, before I actually print that, I do want to make one more change, just to make life a little easier for myself and hopefully you guys. I want to increase the size of the stem hole ever so slightly. It's really close, but I just want it to be a little looser. So if I change it here, everything else references this. So it's all going to update accordingly. I'm going to delete all these. So now, like, we can go to our very last ones, right? These should be 0.3 away. And you can see that, in fact, they are. Cool. So let's test Morris's theory, though, and see if they were just 1/100th scale. It's going to take a minute to load again. It's times like this, in our modern world of great impatience, where I start to wonder if I actually clicked the right button or not. I'm pretty sure I did, but these moments really make me doubt myself. Ooh, that's a good vintage. Oh, there we go. Whew. Alright, so let's try pulling it straight from Explorer to here. Okay, now okay, scale. Let's see, 10,000. Ooh. Okay, so they are there. Okay, so they are there, but I don't want to have to guess at the scaling factor, so I'm going to use all reliable. I broke it. Stuck loading. Mm-hmm. Come on. You can do it. Okay, there we go. All right, so they're all here again. And we're just going to save it again. All right. Whew. Okay. That was intense. So let's go ahead and get these ready for printing. First thing we need to do is we need to do our layout. So if you click layout and then do center align, it will pack as many as it can lined up to the center. You can do X side or Y side. I always just do center. Seems to work fine enough. Always be mindful of your selection criteria so that you don't go pulling things over where you don't want to. I want to pack as many of these on as I can because otherwise it's a bunch of work. I think we can still fit a few more. There we go. That's more dense. Yeah, a bit of an underestimate. Yeah, I like this workaround because it's a sure bet, right? Like it's always going to work. Orca Slicer worked really well. Chitu Box works okay. It's not the best. All right, then to do that, I just did auto orient. You got to remember when you're resin printing, right? You're looking at the derivative from layer to layer of how much area is being added, and so you'll have more success if you keep the change in area small, going from layer to layer. So auto orient tries to figure out something like that, but it does something that I don't like for these sticks where a bunch of their bums are up in the air. And this isn't a bottoms up scenario, so we're going to tip all these back down. Thankfully it's not all of them, but take your time, make sure you don't miss any. And just get it so that all the stems are pointed down. Oh, I almost missed one. So, do my pan around. I think I got them all. Now, for supports, yeah, so you can see I'm just clicking over from tab to tab. And then I've found that with my current resin settings, it's been working okay to do the light supports. You want to do the lightest you can get away with because it will result in higher quality prints. But it's going to take a lot of trial and error. So just work with that the best you can. Make sure you select all of them first and then do apply. I don't know why that pulled forward. It doesn't need to. And this is another part of Chitu Box that has gotten much better. I found in the past it will fail to raise all of them off the bed. So you would always have to like go through and make sure that you didn't have any that were still stuck to the bed. But I haven't seen any of those same kinds of failures with this newer update. So that's really, really good. Okay, now we're ready to go to export. I'm going to click slice. And watch how fast this is. Click. Oh wait. Okay, not quite yet. I'm going to go ahead and fix these. Okay. Click. Done. That is a night and day difference, guys. This slicing process used to take literal minutes to complete. I'm very impressed that it's that fast now. Huge time saver for me. So everything looks pretty good. I don't see any random islands popping up. So I'm ready to send it. So we'll do network sending. Now it does actually pull up my printer reliably. It didn't do that before either. It also didn't used to open G2 Manager reliably. That was a big pain. Now, while that's still loading, I'm going to go back to this, and I'm just going to save this. And let's put it... Let's put it in that folder from before. Oh, okay, here it is. Okay, it might have failed to send to... It might have failed to send it. So let's try that one more time. G2Box may have crashed. Or G2 Manager, I guess I should say. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and say hit print, hit yes, and then I keep forgetting to update this, so I always have to go into detail and just tell it print anyways. My understanding, based on the little research I've done, is that you don't actually need to change the FET film unless it's damaged. So I check it all the time. It still looks great. But yeah, we're way above the 60,000 releases that it recommends. But 60,000 releases, that is like an insanely low number for what it is, right? Like, each layer on a resin print is anywhere from 10 to 50 microns. So even something as small as this, like thousands of layers. Or I guess not thousands, but 505 layers. And so even my little joystick mods quickly rack up for the number of releases. It's insane. They're just trying to sell lots of film, I think. But we can pull up the camera, and we don't see squat because it's dark in my garage. But that's cooking. I'm going to let that... Wait, why is it paused? Yeah, get going. Did I miss the button? I guess I must have. Okay, well, while that's cooking in the background, let's do a little bit of show and tell. I got some stuff in the mail today that I ordered in preparation for the Bondtech Index that will be coming out. So, I guess I'll show that one last. This is the Big Tree Tech Manta board. So this is a main board for the, well, it will be for my SV08, but it's a clipper main board, very similar to what the SV08 has by default, but this has quite a bit more functionality built into it. One of those being that we have 8 stepper drivers, and that will allow me to have up to 8 stepper axes installed. That's already a little more than what the SV08 has on it currently, but it also gives me the ability to add more cameras, more sensors, more complex and intelligent sensors, a whole bunch of features that are going to be really nice for once the Index comes out, because I will have everything I need to be able to have it run at the top of of its possible performance, right? So with this, I also got the CB2. This is essentially a Raspberry Pi, but stripped down. Okay, so I mean, it's a PCB. They're not the most interesting to look at. But basically, my goal between now and March, which is when I'm predicting I'll be able to get my hands on the Index, based on what they're saying about the release schedule, I want to get this installed. I want to get my SVO8 moved over to mainline Clipper, and I want to do all the mods possible that will still work and help with Index. So another example is I'm also going to be swapping the tool head for something that's a bit more robust than the SVO8 tool head. There's one by Nadir CN3D, I think is what his name is. It uses a EBB 36 board and a Orbiter 2 extruder. That happens to be what I have as parts for another project that I was working on, so I'm going to go ahead and make one of those and get that built out. I'm also going to add eddy functionality to the SVO8. So we're talking probably around $300 worth of upgrades going into the SVO8 here. But it's going to make the SVO8 a significantly more capable machine than it currently is. So that part's going to be really, really cool. Oh, I just spilled heat sinks. Shoot. Dang it. Alright, get those. So, set that to the side again. So we've got some exciting stuff coming out. The printer is now working. I'm going to go ahead and close down Box. And Orca Slicer. Go back to our main screen. And we can close Onshape for now. Now, let me show you the one thing I don't like about Qi 2 Manager right now. If I pull up my taskbar here, all it does is minimizes to the toolbar. I hate when software does that. So I always have to exit manually. I can't find a setting that will allow me to just set that as default behavior. Is what it is. But RSI gave us another update. So that is what we're going to be stepping into next. Before we get into that, though, I need to pee. So I will be back. Not all pee-pee times are poo-poo times, but all poo-poo times are pee-pee times. I'm back. For better or worse. Now it's time to put the headphones on. And since I had a moment to reflect and let my brain catch up, I'm also remembering that I need to start Joystick Gremlin before I get into the game. So there we go. Now our joysticks are going to work. Wild times. So, with this latest update, everything is kind of centered in Pyro. Oh, wait. There we go. Load and save. Load. Skip. But we're still going to load in Stanton because I want the safe landing zone. And Lorville actually has the best shops now. So we're just going to plop ourselves there. Confirm. Guild members advised to be on the lookout for Amelia Boyd. Multiple confirmed sightings of Amelia Boyd in Stanton have some mercenary guild officials concerned. Boyd's movements coincide with increased activity by frontier fighters in both Stanton and Pyro, leading to speculation that another attack may be imminent. This activity comes amidst rumors of internal fighting and poor recruitment by the frontier fighters. While some guild officials see this as a time to be cautious, others are arguing that now may be the ideal time to focus forces on the group to bring Boyd to justice. Imperator Addison shares Citizens Day message. Halfway through her term, the Imperator makes the case for her vision for the future. In anticipation of Citizens Day, Imperator Addison shared a vid aimed at stirring civic pride and championing her agenda. And we'll never know the rest. Let's see. Oh. Well, if only they knew that another YouTuber had just hopped onto the server. They'd understand what a treat they have. So, I went ahead and got the Gladius off camera. But that's actually going to be a terrible ship to take around Pyro, huh? Let's get the Zeus delivered then. Yeah. Zeus has good fuel storage. But it doesn't have the best parts equipped by default. I think I'll go with the Hurston this time. I was rocking Microtech for the last patch, but I have most of the ones I wanted, so let's give them a shot. Put Starburns on this. Swap the Chaos Drive for Chimera. And shield generators for Trentas. And then we can also give ourselves some attritions. And some ardors.
Welcome to the ASOC Vehicle Retrieval System. Your vehicle has been delivered. Please visit us again.
Let's also get ourselves kitted out with some armor. I didn't realize I had that much. That's kind of cool. What am I feeling like today? What do I want to wear? Have a lot of Morozov. A lot of Morozov. Let's see, these ones are medium armor. I'll use them though. Let's go for it. Thoughts on the Saber Raven? I mean, it's cool. I like it. Saber Raven, that's the E-Warfare variant, right? It looks a little more stealthy, but it's... The Saber family, I think, is weird, because the base Saber looks nothing like its counterparts. And the Saber Raven was supposed to be a variant of the Saber, but now it feels like everything else is a variant of the Saber Raven, and nothing's actually a variant of the Saber. So it's very odd from that perspective. I don't understand how everything is still called a Saber when the only thing that is looking like a Saber is the Saber. Everything else looks like the Raven. So that part's weird, but it's a pretty minor gripe overall. I do like the look of the Saber Ravens. It's not necessarily a complaint. It's just odd that it's built like that. Yeah, I've actually been able to keep most of my components. I had an XL1 drive that it doesn't look like it let me keep, but everything else has been copacetic. It's let me keep most things. Should also have some cool guns in here too. I have one but have never dared to fly it. Why? It's a cool ship. It's not like there's any consequences in this game. Just take it out. Ever since what is it? Armor recovery tier 0, whatever they called it. It's not like you're gonna risk. It's not like you're gonna lose anything. Just have fun. Okay, that's probably good enough. Oh, well, no, I'm not going to have any med pens available because it's a new patch. believe the Intel edition is the only version a player can get for the Raven. Yeah, I think you're right. It was the... they don't even make it now, but it was the Octane drives, right? Ah, man. Yeah, that makes us sound super old, dude. Remember when Intel Optane was a thing? Jeez. This game has been existing since before Optane. That's how old we are. Oh, okay, so I don't actually have to go to Pyro. That's kind of cool. So there's Citizens for Prosperity missions, or there's Headhunters. And the Headhunters have the coolest skin. So we're going with Headhunters to start. Schlag was telling me in PMs, though, that I can go for both. So I'm going to be doing both. Told me to avoid the ones that are looking for a body because they don't they break. I'll go for this one. Maybe. I said go for this one. I had the 280 gigabit version. Okay, but is it a beast by today's standards, or was it a beast at the time? Because the big thing was that it was a 3D array of storage banks, right? And I think it had like a more closely integrated connection to the cache on board, right? So it was supposed to be able to access its storage faster. Yeah. But, I mean, I don't think anything that comes out today is slower than that. Like, it's kind of got left behind.
Hey, Stills. Thanks for picking up the snack.
Let me out. Oh. Oh. It's going to let me out. Transit Refactor or Star Transit cannot come soon enough, guys. There we go. That was the first time pressing a button on the new hats. Here, we can do this too. This is me using the analog stick. And obviously I'm biased, right? Like, I made the thing. But getting this slow of a pan was difficult before. I'm able to get this slow of a pan. This is definitely a lot more grippy than the default stick. But I'm not losing out any of the range either. Look at that. Barely crawling. Those kind of minute changes, those were a challenge before. So that is a definite benefit to the new stick design. Here's the wild part, though. Because I'm the one that has to like test everything, I'm going to create 48 times 296 sticks total, because I'm going to have to print them both twice. Well, I mean that's probably just going to be the most convenient option, so I have one for each side instead of having to wait for another one to print if I find one that I like. So I'm going to have 96 little mini sticks hanging out. The things I do to make content for you guys. But hopefully you guys enjoy them. That's ultimately the goal. I want to make stuff that people like to use. Ooh, look at that. Such precision, such control. I know it sounds like I'm just glazing myself, but it's a nice analog stick. I like it a lot. Oh! Nope! That's a whole lot of nope. Whew. It's gonna be one of those kinds of missions, huh? Okay. They gave up. If you get within, okay, yeah, that must have been what I did. I got within 5K. I managed to avoid the missile though. That was fun. You know what? I wonder if I can just cheese this a little bit. I don't want to shoot him with the ship turret, okay? I'm not going to do that. But I want to see if I can get the ramp lined up. I think one of these buttons does it. I can't remember which one, though. Yeah, can't remember. Oh! Wasn't that one. That's the keyboard, though. That has nothing to do with the hat switch covers, guys. That was the keyboard. You know what? Fine. I'll just land. I'll do it proper. That's a lot of copium, though. That's some BS. Now I can shut engines off. Need my gamer glove if we're going to be going on foot. Wouldn't recommend trying to full clear it. There's just... Why? Because there's this guy? Got nothing on me. I hate these things, though. Those can go to hell. Oh, really? They respawn quickly? Okay. Let's try and just rush to... This will get me there. And then I'll be safe from Zacopian. As long as the NPCs don't take me out! Nope, there's Copian up here too. Did I get him? I got him. Oh, that's a sick helmet. And now we're toast. Okay. Gun here. Oh, jeez. Oh! Ugh. I should have brought a tractor beam. Here we go. Here's a proper gun. Thankfully, this was the dumb dog. Okay, I've got a little bit of ammo to work with now. No, because Tractor Beam would have been thinking ahead and would have been smart. We can't be doing none of that. I'm not going to do a med beacon. I'm not going to give anyone the opportunity to loot anything. Though I guess that doesn't actually work now anyways. I'm already dead, guys. You don't need to keep shooting me. Just rubbing it in at this point. Yes, Schlag. I know. Tractor beam would have been really good to have. I'm aware that I kind of screwed that up. Okay, we're going to do things proper this time. I'm going to actually go to the store, get myself some ammo, hide global chat so I don't get in trouble for anything they say.
Sure, we all want to be able to work longer hours, but overdosing on stimulants is not the answer. From a higher chance of accidents and mistakes, to a decrease in performance and quality of work, Prison Dynamics reminds employees that too many sins close.
I did good. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like a round of gun game, right? I almost had it. That guy got a lucky headshot on me. It did a little bit too much damage, I think. And also, this armor does not have the combat overlay, so I am not going to keep using that. I'm going to switch to something more combat focused.
Prevent work interruptions, but it is considerate to your coworkers. It can help minimize
It's always just got to be that Morzov, man. It is just the best armor. I can't remember where it is. Is it? It's over here. Look at that. Found it. What is it called? Parallax rifle, right? Wait. Yeah, let's just buy it into the local inventory for now. Now we just need a terminal. Hey. This person's had better days. Is that Pedro Pascal? Probably died because there's no one's wife to bother. Alright, cool. Same one. I just bought a bunch of magazines. Where are they? Oh, ammo. Durr. Okay. Now, let's get the tractor beam. Alright. Now I'm actually ready. I think that phrase, all right, that's probably one of my more common filler words. Someone should count how many times I say that over the course of a stream. I'll give you $1 if you do. No, I won't. I'm not going to give you $1. I shouldn't make false promises on the internet. Then I'd be a Star Citizen developer. You know, false promises on the internet. Banning merchantmen. RSI Galaxy. The funny thing is if I had gotten back into the Zeus, it has a tractor beam. I could have done that. Oh, gotta equip the livery. Gotta do that.
Now arriving. Keep up spaceport. Please watch your step when disembarking the train. Fellow traveler, you're not locked doors.
Okay, let's finish that loadout. I guess we are going to see the Gladius tonight. I was thinking I was going to have to go all the way to Pyro, but turns out you don't need to.
Serious and dangerous event.
Yeah, I guess just that, huh?
Step away from the platform edge when train is approaching. Person security reserves the right to search travelers at any time. Person dynamic.
Welcome to the ASOC vehicle retrieval system.
Terminal is a lie. It wasn't letting me click.
To the ASOC
There we go.
selected. Stand by. Your vehicle has been delivered. Please visit.
I think it's James Corden. Hey, it's Pedro again. Nope. Not with that beard, it's not. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember who it is though. Wonder why all these people are deleting themselves. I haven't had any issue. You know, fingers crossed. Doesn't start. Oh, look at that livery. Who, James Corden? No, he probably died because no one laughed at his jokes. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. They updated the look of these guns. Look at these. Woo! I like it. I like it a lot. In some ways, I feel bad for James Corden. I don't think he could get Joker laughing. Okay. So new sounds, right? Those are so fast. Holy Hannah. You see how fast those are? That rate of fire went way up, did it not? I really like the new look. I think it those little angles added by the casing help it blend the shapes in a little more. So no complaints from me. I think it looks pretty dope. I'm telling you guys, this level of fine control feels real good on this stick. I've been missing it. If you own a BKB, try it for yourself. Try to do those really slow movements, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's tough. Oh, wow. I y'all saw it. I did hit the button. Oh jeez. Oh no. Ah! I had so many countermeasures out. Why did I get hit? I'm totally out of control. Let's come on. Oh, I mean, I see what the problem is. I'm missing a wing, guys. Oh my gosh. All right, come on. Let's see. How far from the ground am I? Let's see. Whew. Whew. You know what? I think I'm close enough. See? Totally fine. This brings me back to the good old days. Having to hoof it in on foot. Here, I'll turn the flashlight on so you guys can see the scenery too. Oh, look, predator egg. It used to be, I think, back in like 317, around that time, the bunker turrets were pretty aggressive, and if you had to land 1.5 kilometers out of range in order to not get hit, I would usually try and get close and just be out of their line of sight, and you could usually get within like 200 meters of the bunker. It's been a while since bunker turrets actually worked or did anything. But if you forgot to bring a vehicle and you weren't comfortable getting closer, you were hoofing it. It's been a while since I've had to do this. But hey, on the bright side, we have another ship to get out of here with, because we screwed this mission up last time. You know, so everything works out. Yeah, bunker turrets work now. Clearly. It's probably a good excuse to pull out the hover bike. And I might even live long enough to use it. There we go. Got my combat reticle back. You get a bullet. You get a bullet. You get a bullet. No, come on. I want the whole enchilada. All of this. It's coming with me. Ah! Jeez. Ah, it's a horror game now. Can't stop me now. Alright, what do you got for me, person? Can't remember if it was a dude or a lady. You got some consumables for me. Very nice, very nice. Oh man, did they have a Demico out there? That would have been cool to snag. And what does this helmet look like? Oh, it's just the Citadel helmet. I don't care. Take down the turret before I go, eh? That's probably smart. Ah, okay, fine. You get to live. Whoa. All right. That was way too difficult. Mostly my fault. But we got there in the end, folks. If you like this content and want to see more of it, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. You know, do all those YouTube things. Let me know how I can make this a better viewing experience for you down in the comments below. And, you know, special shout out to our channel members, John Best and the Prime Orbital Bombardiers and above. Get a special mention in each and every video / stream that I produce. Your financial contributions directly help the channel. So, if you have the means, always looking for more members, and you can get your name in a title card. Let's get this back to Everest. And it's obstructed, so it's loading, but it's not actually going to let me jump. I'm going to take the long route. You know, I've been playing this game long enough that I remember when Quantum Drive only worked like 10% of the time. Now it works like 50% of the time. That's like a huge improvement. Okay, so let me know in the chat. Is the engagement range 5K and then you're safe once you get to 1.5K? Because I couldn't really tell on that last approach. It seems like it was aiming at me closer than 5K. So I kind of thought I was safe, but then I really wasn't. I also didn't give me enough time to get my shields up, so I probably should have switched to SCM mode sooner. But I was trying to get there quickly. Oh, I almost had it. I almost had it. That was gonna be such a cool landing. I was gonna slip in all sneaky like, and then I screwed it up. No one's more disappointed in me than I am. Such a big elevator for such a little thing. I think the argument could be made that maybe they should have just a small kiosk for small items, like the old mission turn-in kiosk. Woo!
You're all done. That's fine. I'll get you paid.
We got it! Alright, let's try... I mean, I'm pretty sure they're the same. But, let's go kill this person.
That wasn't some criminal you killed. That was someone who wanted the Empire to be a better place. They were also a friend.
Oh. Well, I killed your friend, Amelia. What are you gonna do about it? You could turn yourself in.
Hi, Steve, this is Prosperity. Just wanted to thank you for coming on board. Good luck out there.
I like the other NPC better. This one's too friendly. They're sending me out to kill people. The nice demeanor's a little off-putting, given the context. Like, jolly good. Thanks for killing that person. You know? Hanger cues are so dumb. I hate him. I want to be using my slick new joystick covers, but I can't do that when I'm waiting for the hanger cue.
Radar contact. Shields are off.
That was someone in a stinger. Thanks for hanging out, Morris. Have a good night. Is that a distro center below me? Nah, it's too small to be a... Oh, no, it is a distro center.
Shields
Okay.
landing complete.
Give it a second. Maybe it'll...
Take off.
Alright. I've got a new plan to deal with this. That should be a good enough angle. Ooh. Sounds cool. That's a sick beat. How you like me now? Mm-hmm. Now... He's working. I don't have to deal with any of those dogs. And I get more bedpans and more equipment. Ah, it's beautiful. There we go. So much smoother. This is the way to do it. That ain't working. That's the way you do it. Money for nothing. Oh wait, hold on. Wait, no, that turret wasn't active. Wait, nope. Yeah, it is. Oh, shoot! I should have taken it down before I left.
No, Jeff.
Jeez, that's a lot of damage quickly. Made it, though. Lesson learned for next time. Definitely take it out. Definitely take out the turret. Oh, that's probably why I had my landing gear down. Jeez.
Landing gear raised.
I'm crawling away at 20 meters per second while it's just peppering me with damage.
Shields are off.
Alright, give me a point. Any point to jump to. There we go. There's a marker. Dude, I don't know, Schlag. My brain must be catatonic right now. I am just not thinking clearly.
Shields are up.
There we go. That was a much better landing.
Engines are off.
It's a good looking skin. I like that one.
Hi, it's Lima. I'm just double checking, but I think you knocked out everything we needed. I'll get your payment settled. Thanks again.
Knocked out, huh?
I hope you remember their name. I really do. I hope it haunts you until some scumbag puts a bullet in your brain.
Actually, I can't remember their name. Let me check for you, Amelia. Bloom. There we go. I'll remember Bloom. All right. Let's go do this one.
Take off. Engines are off.
Oh, shoot.
Engines are off. Landing.
Wrong button.
So,
I'm just all thumbs today.
Landing gear raised. Shields are up. Drive is now
Oh,
off.
let's see. Is there a rep that I'm earning for this? And can I track it? I'm hostile. Kind of interesting. Oh, come on. I hate when they fight with each other. Like, just pick an icon.
Drive is now on.
Okay. On approach on the dark side of the moon. Not a super fan of being on the dark side, but I guess it's not so bad here. It's still pretty bright.
Shields are on.
Hey Joey, don't mind me. You just keep doing your thing, dude. Why am I moving? There we go. Don't go too far there, buddy. I want you to stay close, alright? Okay, you guys can have him back, don't worry. I think I hit one of them. So funny. Ah, that's a pretty dark threat. Jeez. I don't think I've heard that voice line before, though, so, you know, good on CIG for adding some more in. Are they whistling for me? That's... Alright, I've learned this time. Oh, come on. Why is it not... Pop.
Shields damaged.
There we go. Alright, that was finally a well done mission. Oh, third time's the charm, I guess.
Shields are off.
Okay, now I need an OM.
Auto drive is now on. Auto drive is now.
Guess you can't give me all the info. What do you mean? Busy farming your Mondi? Oh. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I need to get into that as well.
Auto drive is now on. Auto drive is now off. Auto drive is now on.
Let's see.
Drive is now off.
Okay, I think that just saved my my replay buffer. I'm still trying to learn this Stream Deck thing. It also goes away as soon as I go back into the game. Doesn't stay up. Maybe there's a setting I can change to fix that. Oh, hold on. I'm getting a call from Mom. I'm gonna mute myself for a second. Hey, Mom, give me just a sec. All right, we're back. Didn't give me a hanger while I was away, so I guess that kind of works out. Not like we really missed anything, right? My head's just not in it today, guys. Holy cow. I am struggling so much. I don't know what it is. and send the entire freight elevator down.
What's up? Stokes. Gonna send your pay.
I hope the pat on the head your handlers give you for doing their dirty work is worth what you've taken away. You killed a good person. Remember that.
Okay, so I mean, here's the thing. The guilt trip it's one of those your jeers mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer. You know, because Amelia Boyd, Frontier Fighters, they were the ones that did the terrorist attack in Stanton to lure us all to Pyro, to then start a blood war in Pyro on their behalf. You know, so it's just not working for me. Like, you can keep talking, Amelia, but I'm not feeling it. Is there a journal that's tracking this? What am I... Oh, okay. Yes, here we go. So each mission gives you 100, I guess. So we've done one for each. But I don't think these are available yet, because I think these are the next week. And let's take this opportunity to... Let's put the game away for a bit, or probably for the rest of tonight. Let's take a look at the actual RSI page, see if there's something we might learn there. So Phase 1 Recon gets you some clothing. Phase 2 gets you some skins for the Grey Cat MTC. I don't think I've seen this one before, or this vehicle. Doesn't ring a bell. And Phase 3 Takedown gets you skins for the C1, which looks really cool for the Headhunters. This one's also pretty cool. It's just a little more muted. I like the splash of color on the Headhunters one. Oh, that just takes you to the download page. Of course, new patch bundle. But see, I'm fine with this stuff in some aspect. Like, getting the skin is cool. I'm not fine with the gear. That should still just be a skin for the gear itself, not items. But either we're not there yet, or it's never going to be that way. I hope it's the former. Is there a video associated with this? Okay, yeah, Recon starts on October 16th. Siege starts on October 28th. So we've got just over a week to get that going. And then Takedown starts on November 6th. So all I really need to do is I need to just make sure that I am efficient when it comes to, because I have a cruise coming up. I'll be leaving October 31st, and I'll be back November 6th, I think. So they'll probably leave Siege up afterwards. So not super terrible. But cool. They're saying that there's some effect that this is going to have, but I don't know what that will be. The outcome of the fight is decided by you. And right now it looks like it's pretty evenly split. I think most people are just going for both. So, I don't know. Might be kind of interesting. But I think for tonight, I'm going to call it there. Thanks for hanging out with me. We did quite a few cool things. We got our grand total of stick combinations up to 48. Oh man, that's so much testing I'm gonna have to do. But we got those printing, so they're probably done by now. Actually, I'll need to go check the printer, get them cleaned up, and then post-process them. We got that done. I showed you some stuff that I'm going to be doing for the 3D printer. Got some progress made in Star Citizen. So it's been a pretty successful night, I think. Looks like we had quite a few people hanging out too, so thank you for your support. It means a lot. Again, if you want to get your name in a title card, Orbital Bombardiers and above get a mention in each and every video/stream that I do. Thank you, John Best and the Prime. Your financial contributions directly help the channel. But short of that, like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. Let me know what you think down in the comments below.